What's going on, guys? Hey, how are you? Repeat back, and it's going to be a special Sunday night. We've got a big treat for you. We're back with the Filter Time eSpark Cup Series, and we're kicking off the season. And boy, we're going to kick it off with a big old bang. Just like after the show, I'm sure you're going to see a bunch of fireworks, as so will one special driver. Speaking of a special person, man, who better than to kick this all off with than the one and only? I'm Rick James, 36. Yes, he is opposite side of this virtual booth. Rick James, 38 cars here tonight, buddy. 38 cars, huge field, Daytona International Speedway, the world center of speed. I am ready to go. It seems like we've been calling plate racing now for a month, even though it's only been about a week, but I'm looking forward to this one. 38 cars, first race we've done with setups. How you feeling, sir?
I am so ready, Pete. I'm always honored to be along your side, calling race after race. And now we've got the season opener for the Filter Time eSpark Series from the World Center of Racing. 38 cars, 250 miles, 100 laps, and at the end of the day, just one winner in this first Filter Time race.
Yeah, I can't wait to see who it's going to be. This field is completely stacked. And I'm actually going to bring up our roster and our starting lineup and all that right now. Starting off here actually, I'll start from the back and pull this up here. I mean, this is huge. Actually, let me go ahead and move this eSpark logo so you can actually see it, as well as a couple of the others. I didn't think that they'd be that far up. But all right, there we go. So, I mean, from the back working up, we got Rangers, we got Doc Holliday, J-Mac, Lil Snack, a whole lot of Pro League drivers are all affiliated in some way with eSpark. Evil Within, J-Pa, this is the first time I think I've ever heard of him running setup, so this is going to be a whole lot of fun. Jose 95, Slade, the Aviator, Mordog. I mean, super NASCAR fan, Rye Bread, Fry Dog, everybody's familiar with him, and then JRM Dohar in the he's going to be starting kind of mid pack, but not too far back. I'll pull up the second one right now if you want to go ahead and read off that.
Having some technical difficulties here, Pete, but you mentioned names like Dohar, who have been winning left and right recently, and you also mentioned names like Frydog and JMax, so I'm very excited to see what these guys are going to do, working their way from the back to the front.
Yeah, back to the front, and that's going to be a huge task. I mean, 38 cars, that is a lot of traffic to navigate around a track that has some issues going through the corners. It's not exactly as easy as holding the bottom line like it is at Talladega. It's not as smooth. But working up through the middle of this huge pack, you got Word Burton, you got Mr. Track Bar. I mean, the man was phenomenal during the Season 2 Pro League. ECR Kool-Aid, Lucky Dogs, Pro League champ. McWinning, as well as Trippy Tricks, Oreo, Tom Flitty. Seems like he's all over the place these days, bouncing from league to league. So I know that he's fast in setups as well. We got Toasted Gamers, Leafs Justin, Dill Pickle. We've seen that name a couple times already, as well as the one and only Stout Whiskey. So I'm curious to see what he's going to be able to do in all this as well. And then let's see. I'll pull up the graphics showing your top 12 starters, and here we go. MB1 Rocky Top. We've seen him around quite a bit. Ramsed, of course, very familiar with him, calling the eSpark series. Honorary Hades, same thing. Scott Hall for life. The man is he's been phenomenal in the the FFL showdown. He scored a lot of points for eSpark. Then we got Fluffy, Big John, which I'll actually have his stream up tonight to help us out with laps and fuel mileage and stage. This race will actually be run with stages, unlike some others in the past. Then we got Brodozer, very familiar with him. Freddie 2 times. Got it. Sterlo, Asylums, and then our front row. Good old tack on the outside with NCAR Racing 64. He's going to be the control car when these guys all get lined up. But man, Rick James, this is a loaded field.
It's an all-star lineup. It's a loaded field. These drivers are going to have to use all of their skill and patience in these opening laps. Pete, I don't think I've ever seen an NASCAR race with 38 competitors taking this green flag. I'm so ready to go. I know these drivers are ready to go. I hope the fans are ready for a one-of-a-kind show.
They better be because once this goes green, there's no pulling the reins back. I'll tell you what, though, there was a whole lot of talk, a whole lot of worry about the server issues that we've had here lately. And I'm hoping that they're going to be able to hold out, or if we do get any kind of a little bit of a server bump, it doesn't kick anybody out. These guys are all top performers. They want to get in there, they want to get it done, they want to knock their first chance into making the season championship right out of the park today. They want to be the one that we're talking to last because he came in first tonight. Now, calling these eSpark races and just getting to know some of these guys, is there anybody out here that when I read off their name kind of stood out to you like, man, that guy's got a solid tonight?
Guys like NCAR Racing and Asylums, who are going to be starting on the inside of rows 1 and 2, respectively, they certainly have a lot to prove, having a lot of experience here. But guys like Rangers, Doc Holliday, drivers like that necessarily haven't made their name in the Filter Time series will be starting all the way at the back, but it's almost a blessing in disguise for these drivers because they have so much to learn and all the time in the world to do it. They can just sit back, relax, learn about their opponents in these opening laps, and after the first two stages, start to make moves.
Yeah, that again, you just hit it right on the head right there. Stages. Prior to this season, eSpark didn't run stages, and I think from what I've heard in some of the team communications, it's going to be like that for all the eSpark series. I could be wrong on that. I've been wrong before. But if that's the case, that's going to break up the races. It's going to make the restarts even more phenomenal. It's going to add some fuel strategy into play. You're going to see some issues. Who's going to be willing to push on their tires? Who's going to be willing to gamble, knowing that they've got these couple little stage breaks as the season really starts to progress. Rock NASCAR, thank you very much for coming on out, hanging out. Thank you very much for the bits, sir. Definitely appreciate you. For anybody out there that follows Rock NASCAR, you're about to want to follow him even a little bit more. The man went and got himself a brand new gaming tower with a capture card, the same exact capture card that I use for streaming and for the graphics and all that. You're about to see a little bit more of an artistic side of the one and only Rock. So, Rock, thanks for coming out and thanks for all you do for the Heat community, sir. All right, Rick, they are getting loaded in. They're pulling in everybody as they qualified all week long. The drivers that made the field were able to reach out to Dohar, said, "Hey, I want to go ahead and qualify." They got their qualified times in rather than having to start this race like a half hour early in order just to get 38 cars in the field. Originally, Rick, there were, I think, Dohar said 47 or 48 cars that attempted to qualify for this Daytona 250. So everybody wants to be here, but only the elite 38 were able to make it into the field.
It only goes to show just how much clout the Filter Time eSpark series has. Everybody wants to be a part of this series. Everybody really wants to showcase what they can do at the top level, and this is it for some of these guys. This is their chance to put their stamp on the e-racing world and say, I belong. So I'm expecting to see some surprise names, guys that are going to be more than just a flash in the pan, and expect to see some clever moves out there with fuel strategy.
Absolutely, especially again, it brings it right back to those stages. If you watch the FFL race last night between American Ethanol and SXRL. American Ethanol, their entire team pit within like the first 10 or 15 laps. They short pit. They came out and were able to go the entire way. Where SXRL, they pit right when their window opened and they ended up having to save fuel at the very end. And American Ethanol was able to buzz right on by, and just about their entire team made up the full top 10. And after when it was all said and done, uh, we took a couple lag bumps because of the server. SXRL lost like one or two people, and that ended up being a little bit of an issue for him. But American Ethanol still clearly went on out and just took over the race. I want to say the point spread was over 100. But looks like they are actually getting loaded in right now. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that as well. Big John is going to go ahead and hit us up. So we're going to get our information back here on the stream as well. Let me know if you need an invite, Rick.
If you could be so kind, Pete, I would love one so I can catch this thrilling event.
Absolutely. We'll do right now, sir. There you go, buddy. God Power 1994, good old NNRGP out there in chat saying, let's go Stout, referring to Stout whiskey. Stout's going to be starting just a little bit deeper in the pack. As you can see there on the bottom, I want to say he's a little bit further. He's down there somewhere, but he'll definitely, yeah, let's see. Let's go ahead and get rid of that. J-Pa or Q-Dog out there, he's chiming in, getting ready to cheer on the driver. I think it's the 22 of old J-Pa and J-Pa Militia. J-Pa heads up a team or I'm sorry, the Xfinity Series in NNR, which we're going to get a hand at calling here starting September 24th. But yeah, we're gonna get set to go here, Rick.
We're going to get set to go here. A lot of cars taking place. They're going to go ahead and do a pace lap, get settled, and go over some last-minute rules here, Pete. I'm so excited to see which of these drivers is going to jump out in front and say, this is my race. But I'm nervous as well, Pete. 38 cars on these hallowed high banks of Daytona. I'm struggling to see how they're going to make it through these first 5 laps caution-free, Pete, but I don't want to be a pessimist.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what they're going to be able to do. So it looks like the 88 of Dohar, he's going to go ahead and drop it to the back. Not quite sure. Something must have happened there, but let's start back up front. You got 20 attack with the 24 of NCAR. Okay, so Dohar started up front because he started the lobby, so that makes more sense. All right, so the 24 of NCAR. Then we're going to drop on back to the 17 of Sterlo, 6 car of Asylums, 38 of Brodozer, 43 of Freddie, 16 of Fluffy. It looks like he had an early issue. He's actually sitting on pit road already. Pop Bear, how are you? 42 of Big John. We got the 34 of Honorary Hades. 48 of Scott Hall for life. Man is great with all the artistry work that he does. 44 of Ramset with the Dill Pickle in the 49 to 2 car. One and only Stout Whiskey. 41 of Toasted Gamers. 12 car of Leaf Justin. 94 of Roy Air 23. 8 car Tom Tom. I'm going to be watching for him all night long in that Tame Beast Camaro. Then we got the 77 of McWinning, the 1 of Trippy Tricks, that monster Camaro. 62 of ECR Kool-Aid, another one I'd love to watch. 13 of Lucky Dog, Season 2 Pro League champ. 73 of Word Burton. 37 of the one and only Mr. Track Bar, set just about every record in the Season 2 Pro League. We got 10 car of Fry Dog. 19 of Rye Bread. 00, old buckshot numbers of Super NASCAR fan. 5-car Moordog, 7-car of the Aviator, 21 of Slade, 95 of Jose, 22 of J-Pa, 51, 32, 3-car J-Mac, 9-car Doc Holiday, 11 of Rangers, 88 of Gohar, and we are back up front, just about to enter that Geico restart zone or filter time restart zone. Rick, we're green. Rick, did I lose you, sir?
I'm here, Pete. My mistake. I was so excited I forgot to unmute myself so I wouldn't say too much before the green. But we're going, man. NCAR Racing leading this race with Asylums trailing close by in second place. Then you have the 43 of Freddie in third. Big John, I'm sorry, the 42 in third. Looks like then Brodozer in the fifth position in that number 38 FAS Mustang. Single file, Pete, through this first lap. These drivers exercising great caution and a good heads-up play.
Yeah, I mean, now, unlike what we've been calling in the FFL tournament here, Rick, these guys are under full setups, meaning they can mess with everything. Their gear ratios, their springs, every single little bit of this car they can adjust. So we're probably going to see a whole lot of guys running around this place in third gear, really just get into fourth and see a car spinning all the way in the back, but it doesn't look like it's really going to collect very many. But I'm very certain that a lot of these guys are going to spend a lot of time in fourth gear, especially in the draft, to save some fuel. Now, stages will absolutely come into a play. And as you said, we've got a long train. It seems like everybody that started outside of each other are now on that bottom line, really just guiding it along the butter.
Right glued to that yellow line on the inside of the track that does signal out of bounds. Freddie in the 43 looks like he went to the outside to see if he can draft with some other friends behind the 62 of ECR Kool-Aid, and he's got the 20 of Tack right behind him, who also started in that outside lane. Now JRM Dohar, the 88 car sitting behind Tack, and then that green 73 Camry being driven by Word Burton. So these cars already getting some good links on that inside line. And there's Track Bar in the 37 on the outside. He's got that 18 right up his trumpet trying to urge him along. A couple of guys have already lost the draft, Pete, but now 27 laps remaining in this stage, and I think these drivers are just starting to dip their feet in the water.
Yeah, talking about dipping their feet in the water, they are dipping a little bit too low for my liking. We both know, Rick, if you hit that apron going through either 1 and 2 or 3 and 4, it will shoot you up off the line and force you either into a car that's just unlucky enough to be on the outside, or it's just going to completely mess with the handling of what you've got going on, throw you way off. You're going to have to correct. If you're fortunate enough to keep your spot instead of getting bounced to the outside line, you're going to regret it, and you're going to have to learn from it and move on. But so far, everybody right now, the only person that is just flat out on the floor is that driver NCAR pulling this very long train around Daytona.
NCAR Racing still leading this one, but look to the outside. Here comes Big John in the 42 with help from that 48, just urging him along that backstretch. Third in line on the outside is the 17 of Sterlo. Behind that number 48 Camry. Brodozer now on the outside, as is that 44 Petty Machine, just pushing that outside line forward. Big John in the 42. NCAR Racing in the 24. Now coming across the line, 26 laps to go. Big John beats him to the line, and he is your new leader in that 42. Credit 1 Camaro. Scott Hall in the 48 shoving him along down that outside line. Pete, those 4 cars on the outside are bullying that inside lane with absolute speed. I don't know what is in those outside cars, but they are moving down the back.
Absolutely, really hauling down the back. I was actually just riding along with the 37 of Mr. Track Bar, and he got one hellacious pull off of the back of the 44. As you said, though, the 42 of Big John, he is pulling this outside line along. And don't look now, but behind that 37, he's about to have some more help. He's got at least one coming right up to his trunk lid. but there's even more a little bit further back as they're starting to check up a little bit on that high side. Either that's just a little bit of instability between the 37 and the 44.
These cars are having a hard time staying off of that wall. They're coming up to lap traffic now, Pete. They'll catch him in half a lap. That's going to be a huge wrench in everybody's plan. NCAR Racing still leading on the outside with Asylums in tow, Sterlo in third. The outside line ran out of steam, but they're still smooth. They're still determined. Rocky Top in the 18 having a little bit of trouble, and there's some cars. The 7's gotten into the wall out of the fourth corner. A couple of more have been collected with him, Pete. These drivers getting impatient and need to get moving. Stout Whiskey has gotten moving, and already caution number 1 flies over the speedway.
Yeah, cautions are definitely on tonight. They've got a good old, about 30 seconds now to get in here in case anybody messed up something during qualifying. Maybe a little bit too much tape, maybe a little bit too much right rear air pressure. Who knows? I'm sure they all took a little bit of time to get in here and really worry about their setup. They know that they're racing against the best, so they've got to put every foot forward to make sure that they've got what it takes to keep up. This was a great caution for some of the guys in the back, including the 10 car of Frydog. Unless they were back there on purpose, this is going to help them catch back up to the field. And we're about to set them green again with the 17 of Sterlo leading them to the way.
Sterlo leads them through the filter time restart zone, and we're back to racing again. Stout Whiskey in tow in that number 2, that blank number 2. Then you have his Penske teammate in the 12 right behind him. Leafs Justin piloting that Pennzoil machine in third place. That 8 car, the beast of Tom Tom, sitting in fourth. ECR Kool-Aid in fifth in that number 62 Camaro. Single file down that inside line, and Pete, it looks like as far as restarts are concerned, inside is where you want to be.
Yeah, inside has been the dominant way around. The 42 of Big John was able to pull a train up on the high side earlier, just like the 13 of Lucky Dog. He's trying to do right now. He's hoping that a car or 2 or 3 will pull on up. He can get a draft off them, pull up, and then they could try to work around that high side like they did earlier. But right now, it really looks like the bottom is what's formed up and what's moving the fastest right now.
Lucky Dog by himself on the outside. Word Burton in tow. JRM Dohar in the 88 right behind him, but they're just going nowhere. Trippy Tricks in the final car on the outside line, but most of the field has made their minds up, Pete. They want to be on that inside. ECR Kool-Aid rounding out the top 5 with NCAR Racing in 6th. 38 in 7th. Scott Hall for life in 8th place in that 48 Ally Camaro, and they continue to move on the inside. A couple of cars looking to the outside, Pete, but right now I think everybody has made their minds up. They want to just ride around and feel out their competition. Rocky Top left out to dry in the 18. Cars shuffling around. There goes the 3, and the bump drafting starting to get aggressive.
Yeah, the bump drafting, that was one thing I was really curious about how that was going to work. Again, there's 38 cars on track. The only one right now that is flat foot is your leader. Again, that's still the 17 of Sterlo, I believe, unless something has happened to him. Not 100% sure right now. I'm kind of riding around with the 43 of Freddie two-time, or Freddie KY, or whatever he goes by. But he's out here right around mid-pack, right in front of the 42 of Big John. And actually, it looks like now we got the 16 of Fluffy. He's on pit road. It looks like a virtual blown motor for him.
Absolutely, Pete. Not the way you want to start your filter time campaign, but that's the way the cookie crumbles on the Daytona sands. Sterlo leading this one. Stout Whiskey in second. And so far, 3 Ford Mustangs leading this top 3. And that's something that we saw and we got used to a couple of races ago, just watching these Mustangs charge around that inside. Sterlo still leading a good charge down that bottom lane. These cars starting to think about pit stops with just around 12 laps left in their pit window. We'll see who stretches. We'll see who comes in. And it will also tell us who's made friends at 206 miles an hour.
Now, Rick, let me ask you. You just mentioned 12 or 13 laps to go. I'm sorry, 12 or 13 left in the tank with 16 to go. Do you think any of these guys in the back, the 49 of Dill Pickle and quite a few others, do you think they've actually got what it takes to, or do you think they have the capability, I should say, to phrase it a little bit better, to save 3 laps as they're so far back in this pack, not really on the throttle, trying not to really slam draft the guy in front, but also having to watch the guy in the mirror that you're not about to take any kind of a hellacious hit from him. Do you think they can save 3 laps in the back?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, Pete. To save 3 laps is witchcraft. I won't say it's impossible, Pete, but it's certainly not something that's going to happen in this first stage with only one yellow flag. They're going to need a couple of more cautions. They're going to need to remain around the back. But for these drivers, it's difficult to stay patient, and it has to be something about that race car driver mindset, Pete. They want to be at the front, and there's action in the back. The 18 of Rocky Top's gone around. Couple of cars making contact. The 94 of Roy Air, the 1 of Trippy Tricks, and the 18, as we mentioned, and hopefully these guys don't get collected by that oncoming traffic. And
Like
they
that.
do. There goes the 00. The 41 of Toasted Gamers gets collected. Yellow flag comes out for the second time, Pete. We're going to restart with less than 15 to go.
Yeah, I was actually on the 94 Roy Air just when you said that, trying to work my way through the field, find who had actually been involved. That hit that he took when the cars came around actually planted the front left of his car into the track. So, yeah, pretty bad hit, I'd say, even for virtual. But, man, so this should clear up any issue on who can or who can't make it to the end of stage 1. I got to tell you, Rick, only 2 cautions, 38 cars on the track tonight. Well, 37 with Fluffy having an early issue or early retirement. We're getting ready to step back to green again.
We're green once again, Pete, and these 250 miles at Daytona are resumed with this green flag racing. NCAR Racing once more on the outside. The new leader in car number 12, Leafs Justin. Look out for Moordog and JRM Dohar. They did not pit, so we'll see how they manage in these closing laps. JRM Dohar, we know he can win a race or two. Personally, I haven't seen Moordog go up and challenge for wins lately. He's driving that 5 car, 5th in line in action. Again, Dohar's involved, Sterlo's involved, 3, 4, 5 cars involved. The big one happens on this time around. I don't know what lap it is, Pete, but the third caution is going to come out. I don't know what's going on, Pete, but I think the P word, patience, has gone out the window.
Yeah, that either had something to do with patience or that other L word, that lag word. Not 100% sure. I was actually putting up something there in chat for everybody, which I was going to kind of hit on. But yeah, that was pretty nasty. It blocked up everything from about halfway down that super stretch all the way into turns 3 and 4. Definitely saw, as you said, the 17 of Sterlo. He went around and around and around, like someone set his record. And yeah. Under caution, quickie caution that time. That's going to give Dohar and everybody else a chance to go on in, top off, bring him on back out, and we're about to set him free one more time.
Let's go racing one more time, Pete. While these cars are getting up to speed, while it's some bottlenecking there on the restart, 7 laps remaining. Big John and Stout Whiskey side by side through that front stretch. A big shout out to the fans that have joined us tonight, talking to Chase Sears, Damon Lear, Mike DB, Papa Bear, God Power, Q Dogs. All of you folks, take a look at that link at the bottom of the chat. Enter for your chance to win a Chase Elliott All-Star glowing diecast with the yellow Chevrolet LEDs at the back of that. Buy yourself a raffle ticket. The proceeds go to an amazing cause to help some very worthy people. We're back up to speed, Pete, and we've got more action in 4.
Yeah, more action in 4, but a guy actually was able to, when he hit the wall, I think he hit one other, but kept it up in the wall, not to collect everybody. When he found a hole to bring it on back down, he did so. And nope, it looks like we got more calamity up in the front again. Everything happening right in front of the 38 of Brodozer, and that should bring out yet another caution. I think these guys are
Caught
starting to get really aggressive here, Rick.
Pete, I think we need to start inventing some new cuss words to put in Rick James' big swear dictionary. Put another dollar in the jar for the A word, Pete. Aggressive has been said tonight, and it started with drivers getting really pushy and shovey in that runoff area leading into turn one. I don't know if it needs to be reiterated, but the yellow line is out of bounds for these drivers. They cannot advance their position according to the regulations. So we'll see if race control has a quick word with these brave pilots and asks them to throw on the brakes just a little more. Super NASCAR fan in the 00 was involved in that last one, as was the 49 of Dill Pickle, the 48 of Scott Hall. We're about to go racing once again, Pete. Leafs Justin leading at the front, Tom Flitty on the outside. We should have less than 5 to go in the stage.
Yep, I absolutely. I'm watching from the 24 right now of NCAR as the 8 car Tom forces his way into the bottom line well before the 62 was even. I mean, he wasn't even clear of the 62, but it looks like 24 is going to leave just a little bit of hole for the 2 car Stout Whiskey to drop on into the bottom line. These guys all have about 12 laps in the tank, so they'll easily be able to take it the rest of these these 5 or 6 laps that are remaining. But I gotta agree with you. I'm sure that Dohar and the other team owners out there are telling their guys, "Hey, look." Calm it down. It's only the end of stage one. Yes, there's points on the line, but we don't need to wreck everything that you've got this early in the race. You want to do that, wait till the last lap when you're fighting coming to the line, and then do that. But for now, keep the fenders on it.
They're trying to keep the cars pointed in the right direction. 2 laps to go in this opening stage. Everybody is having struggles getting out of the back of the pack, but at the front of the pack, it remains the 12 of Leafs Justin at the point, and they're having just a little bit of trouble making it out of 2 cleanly, but now they're 2 by 2, 6 rows deep out of the second corner. Leafs Justin in first, Tom Flitty in second, ECR Kool-Aid in third, Stout Whiskey fourth in line on the inside. His baloney has a first name. It's Asylum's fifth in line, rounding out that top 5 on the inside line. NCAR Racing, Lucky Dog, and Big John in your top 3 on the outside lane.
Yeah, trying to work my way back up there as well. Trying to go through 38 different cameras to find the right one. Sorry if I'm making anybody else out there in chat dizzy. I'm just trying to get the best possible vantage point for you. You know what? We'll just hop on board right here with the other 2 cars Stout, giving this 62 a big old shove. Let's see if they actually take the momentum to the outside or stay where they are. They are going to try, but it looks like Stout was not on the 62's bumper right where he or right at the time that he needed to be. So Stout's going to jump right onto the back of this 8 car Tom, try to tame that beast, take him to P2. 42, a Big John fighting through the hole. And that is the end of stage 1. 12 cars going to take it to the bank. Max points for him. Stage 1 is in the books.
Leafs Justin in the number 12, Pennzoil Penske Mustang taking that win. Tom Flitty second, Stout Whiskey coming home fourth, even though he's second in the line. You mentioned the 42 of Big John. He had a head full of steam out of that fourth corner and literally shoving his way through the middle to come home third in that stage. A good run overall, Pete. You saw the move by Kool-Aid and Stout in the 62 and 2 respectively. They tried to make that pass on the outside, but it was too little, too late. They timed it poorly. Hopefully we'll see some more drivers daring to make the move on the outside.
Man, I tell you, Rick, I think I'm going to try to jump up to our leader here. Actually, let's ride along with the 17 of Sterlo. We're going to take a quick little break, let the sounds of Heat 5 mesmerize you as we take them around Daytona. Back to green. All right, Rick, I am back. I tell you, that was I'm not quite sure what happened behind the 17 of Sterlo right there, but man, it bottlenecked everybody. It looked like they were three wide, about four rows deep, trying to avoid everybody that was in the top three. It seemed like they wanted nothing to do with the lead. And since then, in this last half lap, they were able to get it sorted out, find a line, find a hole to duck into. As it looks like the two of Stout is down on the apron, able to hold on to it. But yet, there's other issues up on track.
There's a crash coming out of the fourth corner, Pete. You saw the 49 of Dill Pickles involved, the 8 of Tom Tom Flitty, the 2 of Stout Whiskey, the 94 of Roy Air, all caught up in that. Caution number 5 flies over the Daytona International Raceway. Now 63 laps remaining in the race, just around less than 25 left in the stage. So pit stops will be coming up sooner rather than later. Drivers will have about another 13, 14 laps if they decide to fill up on fuel, which should be the move for everyone, Pete.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody's going to come in, top it off. These guys are running 2 times wear, 2 times fuel, typical of most leagues or communities. The only thing that is non-typical is the 37 or 38 cars that started this race tonight. Scott Hall for life. Not sure if he was the leader at the time of caution, but he was showing up front there. But now it's all about, I believe that's going to be the 18 up in the front. He's going to be your control car with the 24 of NCAR to the outside. Let's bring him green yet again.
Rocky Top still leading now with NCAR Racing making a charge. Sterlo in the 17, pushing that 24 to the high side.
Yeah, definitely trying to get that high side going, but I'm starting to see more and more cars trying to dip on down to the bottom. And just as we've seen in the beginning, they're dipping down where there's no hole. They're hoping to be able to make a little bit of contact, just enough, though, to make the car on the bottom whoa up, to steal a little bit of their momentum, steal a little bit of the draft, maybe try to side draft them just a little bit, and pull them back enough to where they can drop on in either right ahead of or behind the bottom, the guy in the bottom. But still, that 42, just like he did a little bit earlier in the race, he is trying to pull that high line around. Got 24 of NCAR with him. He's got the 17 of Sterlo as well as the 19. 4 cars nose to tail on the high side. More coming in the back. We'll have to see if they're able to hold it or if the bottom line's going to just take it all on back again.
The 18 of Rocky Top leading this one with the 12 of Leafs. Justin in second. He's got his Penske teammate in that 22 shoving along in third. That car being piloted by J-Paul. Then the 24 of NCAR Racing starting to sneak through, but the 20 of TAC, the 44 of Ramset lie between. NCAR Racing just been jinxed by the curse of the commentator. He's sliding back, and Big John left out by himself on the high line. Pete, I noticed one lap ago, the high line just could not get linked up. Everybody's concerned with getting to the inside. You saw the 42 of Big John just dive to that inside line. Now 10 laps of fuel remaining for most of these drivers, so expect that window to open up in the next 3 to 4 laps. Some guys looking to short pit, certainly gambling on the next caution to come out in this race. Everybody's content single file on the inside line, Pete. I don't think anybody's going to make a move until pit stops come to light.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Again, talking about Big John, big thank you to him for allowing us to tag along for lap counts and what people are typically getting out of their fuel mileage. That 42 has definitely been very strong. Looking to see what that 42 is going to be able to do this season. I know last season he was a championship hopeful. We'll have to see if he's able to get it done this year. I'm definitely a fan of his. Absolutely hope so. And another thing I'm hoping is that we do get more racing on this outside. The bottom line is fast, but you're gonna see more people having to check up than are actually going to be able to get on the throttle. Where if you're on the outside, it's just full bore pushing all the way around.
Well, if you crack open page 7 of Rick James's curse word book and look in the peace section, you'll find patience. And it was crossed out in stage 1, but it looks like the drivers have rewritten it except for ECR Kool-Aid making a move on the outside in that 62 South Point Camaro. No help going to the outside. The 37 of Track Bar looking to shove the 62, but those two cars will have no headway coming out of turn number 4. Leafs Justin sitting in second behind the 18 of Rocky Top with his Penske teammate J-Paw content to ride around in third. 20 laps to go, another 9 laps before the end of these drivers' fuel windows. You can see they're scattering left and right trying to find pit partners and draft partners, Pete.
Absolutely, and it looks like caution has just come out. Not quite sure. Must have been something a little bit further in the back. Guys, everybody up front, or I'm sorry, all the guys in the front rather, were pretty much behaving themselves. But I think they were listening and said, "Patience, huh? You want to see this? Watch." And yeah, not so much. So I don't see a lot of damage in the back. Don't see cars really trying to catch up. I was riding along with the 12 of Leafs, Justin, just as you were saying, as he was getting a real big shove by that 22 of J-Paw. Again, for Q-Dog and everybody else out there in chat, all members of the J-Paw militia, as they call them on the NNR side. 22's looking pretty good so far here, Rick.
22 has sneakily snuck his way up into what was third place, but it looks like he took advantage of the caution and came down pit road. He now finds himself at about 10th or 11th in line on that outside. 4 cars now coming down pit road. I don't know if they forgot to pit or not, Pete, but it's now just 16 laps remaining in this stage. They're going to lose that draft, and there's big gaping holes in some of these lines, Pete. I don't know if they forgot to pit. I don't know if this is strategy. And now that 22 of J-Paw is struggling left and right. Cars going around. The 8 of Tom Tom, the 62 of ECR. Word Burton, one car flipping out of turn number 2. That's the 9. That black and green number 9 Mountain Dew Camaro.
Yeah, quite a few cars were just now collected way deep in the field. You know, I started to talk about it, or I know I definitely mentioned it in the beginning. When you're trying to run that bottom line here at Daytona, it's nowhere near as smooth as it is at Talladega. At Talladega, if you can get down on the bottom and you can put that yellow line right in the middle of the number on your roof and hold the wheel there, don't juke and jive on it, just hold it there. You could be silky smooth all the way around, carry a whole lot of speed, and not have any issues. Here, the corners are not they're not that round. I mean, yeah, they'll go around the track, but they kind of turn and then they flatten out, turn and then flatten out. So you can't just hold the wheel and guide along the yellow line the way you can at Dega. These guys have been fighting that all night long.
Fighting it indeed, and they're going to fight each other as the laps wind down. Stage 2 coming to a close. Lucky number 13 laps remaining. Next time they cross the line, it goes from a baker's dozen to a regular's dozen. And fans, you're not crazy. You don't need an asylum. It is Asylum's. He is the first car in line on the high side, working his way from the back to the front. Now Stout Whiskey, Tack, and Rocky Top looking to overtake on the inside. There's a hole for the 6. He looks to take it. He's going to miss out the 13 of Lucky Dog, now second in line on the high side. At the front, Leafs Justin in the 12. Rams it in second. Track Bar third. Tack fourth. Trippy Tricks in the 1, getting shoved below that yellow line. 4 wide out of 4 with Dohar. Scott Hall, Trippy Tricks, 2 cars around. The 9 cars gone around one more time. 4, 5 cars involved. The caution has to come out again, Pete. Unbelievable from these drivers. They almost made it a full lap, but they need to practice patience.
Boy, I'm hoping that virtual or not, the 62 just went end over end over end, then started barrel rolling. That was a hellacious hit for the 62. It's going to be interesting to see just where he comes back out, because he's going to have a whole lot of time to fix that damage. Rock NASCAR out there in chat saying settle down, drivers. Rick, I've got to agree.
I agree 100% with Rock NASCAR. Big shout out to him. More than a cape. Alpha York in the chat. Thank you for joining us, fellas. Scroll up through that chat. Take a look at the link. Pete, go ahead and send it one more time. Enter the raffle. Enter the raffle of the year for your chance to win a glowing Chase Elliott All-Star winning LED right there. Pete just posted the link. Pete, what's the deal on those raffle tickets?
Basically, $5 for one or $10 for three. Guy that's also out here, more than a cape. It's all for pediatric cancer research. Anybody that knows Cape knows the story, and that unfortunately, Cape's son TJ succumbed to cancer a while back, and he started up a website. It's morethan-a-cape.org. Man, it's phenomenal. I think there's a saying on his site is you find out how strong you are when strength is all you have, or something like that. Um, you know, uh, Cape, I know you're out there. If you want to correct me, please be my guest. But if you can, aside from the raffle, if you go to morethan-a-cape.org, if you want to give towards TJ, towards his memory, towards the I think it's like a 501c or something like that, whatever it is. If you can give towards it, it's absolutely appreciated. Kids that struggle and fight and hopefully are able to beat it all and come back and be a normal child and live out a full life. That's the greatest thing ever. Nobody ever wants to hear of a 5-year-old. Nobody wants to be that parent of a 5-year-old when they come back in and they're talking about that unfortunate C word, Rick. But yeah, that's what it's all for. More Than a Cape has the car on order. Whoever wins the raffle, which will be done on Tuesday night during the NNR race, will actually will the car will be given away during the NNR race. It's on order. It should come out in December or January. So that's when the car will be released. But yeah, it's $5 for one raffle ticket, $3 for 10. All again for morethan-a-cape.org. Support if you can. Definitely worthwhile.
Morethan-a-cape.org, Pete. Beautiful stuff. Thank you, fans. Click that link. It goes to a great cause to benefit one of the best in the racing community. Speaking of the fantastic racing community, back on the track, Stout Whiskey, second in place in that white deuce, pushing the 37 of Track Bar up ahead, and you see a little bit of connection issues. The 37 gets catapulted forward. The 18 of Rocky Top in third, McWinning in fourth, into the 77 Tack, who started on the outside of the front row, sixth. Lucky Dog seventh, Asylum's eighth. Crossing the line one more time. Pete, that 37 has been holding strong at the front of this field.
Yeah, where that 37 of Mr. Trackbar is right now is where he got very familiar all pro season long in season two. The man won the most races, won the most money. I think he set records for laps led and all kinds of things. If there's a record for it, it looks like either some instability in a room. Nope, another caution. I just saw everybody jump to the outside, but 37. He's right where he knows that he can hold the field back with the two-car Stout Whiskey right there, the 18 of Rocky Top. He's got a couple of really strong drivers with him, all on great racing equipment, can really hold the line, and they were moving.
They were moving, Pete. They were moving in a fast and furious way. These drivers certainly urgent to get to the front. Stout Whiskey sitting in second place. He really sits in the catbird seat because there's going to be not many laps remaining in this heat. Certainly less than 10, I believe, when we go back to green. So it's up to these drivers in the front to decide where or when they're going to make their pit and with how much. Stout Whiskey keeping his second place position. He starts on the outside lane.
Yep, I'm working my way back up right there now. Overhead of MB1 Rocky Top. Top 77 to his outside. 37 of Mr. Track Bar. Two-car Stout Whiskey is able to find a hole And I tell you, these guys on the shifters, if you've got that kind of equipment, you're able to get up through the gears. It, you have just about a tenth in the bank just because of how smooth you're able to move. It's even faster than the paddles on most Thrustmaster and other model other wheels. So the guys up front, I know what they've got. I know what Stout has. I know what Track Bar's got. Not quite sure about Rocky Top, but he's holding strong with these other guys up front.
Holding strong indeed, and they're going to have to hold strong for 2.5 more miles. White flag is in the air. Track Bar, Stout, Rocky Top, 37, 2, 18. Camaro, Mustang, Camry across the line. Stout now bringing a gap to himself between the 18 and the 37, mounting a run. The 37 of Track Bar cutting off that run from the 2. Pete, they're coming to you in 3.
Yeah, coming to halfway down the backstretch.
Oh,
I didn't think the 37 was going to be able to slam that door in time, but it looks like something happened in the back, and that's going to end the stage right off the bat. So, uh, two different winners in two different stages. Right now, it looks like it's going to be Track Bar for stage two, and if somebody can't get him out of the lead, he knows how to run both lines like you would see in a normal NASCAR race. He's going to be hard to beat if somebody doesn't try to get a train going, get a line going, and get either down low or up high. That 37 is going to be, not to steal Stout's name, but he's stout up front.
he's stout, he's stern, and he needs to be a little more impatient. Meanwhile, at the front, speaking of drivers that aren't very patient, JRM Dohar is going to be taking us to green to begin stage 3. Either 2 tires or no fuel, but however you want to cut it, it's the Good Humor Camaro at the front with Sterlo and the Fastenal Mustang on the outside.
Yes, Sterling to the outside. Looks like Dohar's going to go ahead and pull on up, try to pick up that 17. But here comes the 8 car of Tom Tom. He thought about staying down low, not so much. I believe that's going to bring a new runner up towards the front. I think that's going to be the 34, if I'm not mistaken, of the Aviator. Nope, I'm sorry, that's going to be Honorary Hades. So some new guys up front after the stage. And so far, a little bit of movement, but we're staying green.
We stay green. The 17 of Sterlo uses the slingshot from the 8 to squeeze between the 8 of Tom Tom and the 88 of Dohar to the front. Dohar trying a slingshot on the outside out of 4, and he's got a good draft, but no help. Sterlo remains in the lead and leads the first lap of this event. The 21 Spin Mustang now to the inside of the 88 of Dohar. That car being piloted by Slade, who was involved in a crash earlier. He's made a comeback. Now 3 Mustangs at the front, 17, 21, 12. Sterlo, Slade, Leafs Justin with the 18 of Rocky Top in 4th. Honorary Hades like a bat out of hell in 5th.
Yeah, and I tell you what, there is a whole gaggle. It is a hornet's nest a little bit deeper in the pack riding around right now. Somebody out there in chat wanted to know who's in the 20 car. That's going to be TAC 2488. Been right around mid-pack all race long, pushing that 3 all the way through the trial right now. Got the 8 of Tom Tom to the outside. We've also now got the 88 of Dohar. Dohar just started on the front row. He was the control car, and he just completely lost it. Something happened, but yeah, a whole lot of action in the middle here, Rick.
That's how quick it can happen in the blink of an eye. The winds of Daytona push you all the way to the back, and now you've got to climb back up the ladder. Meanwhile, at the front, a shift, a change. The 21 now jumps up into the lead. Slade in that Spin Mustang now leading for the first time today at Daytona.
Yeah, Slade up front, 17 of Sterlo. Then you got the 12 car. 17 is going to go around. He got just a little loose. He had 2 wheels on the apron, 2 wheels on the track. That just doesn't work. So 17 is going to have to bring it on down, get back down to first, work it all the way back up through the gears. No caution for the 17, so he's going to lose a boatload of time as well. Just like the 6 of Asylum, he's all the way in the back, somehow lost the draft. But like you said, 21 right now, leading this pack, 2 wide in many places, just like for the lead.
Two Ford Mustangs at the front no longer. Here comes the 73 of Ward Burton, and it's been a great redemption arc for him. For the first time today, he not only finds himself in the top five, he's worked his way into second. Lucky Dog third in line and fourth. Kool-Aid in fourth position on the inside line. 30 laps to go at Daytona. Hades is into the wall, bouncing off a couple other competitors. They're stacking up one car, two cars around. There goes the 10 of Frydog that looks like the 77 of Mick, winning the 95 of Jose, struggling to get out of the second corner. Cars still flipping, Pete. Caution number 7 at Daytona.
Caution 7 for 38 cars on track. They are absolutely doing their best, trying to hold on to it. It's got to be interesting. I know back in back when I actually ran on a controller, if you let out of the gas, sometimes the car will want to veer automatically to the right. I almost wonder if that's what's causing some of these issues. They're having to check up off the person in front. Again, the only guy that is absolutely running flat out, unless you're trying to catch a pack or a train of cars in front of you, is the leader. He's the only one that's flat on the gas. Everyone else having to let up, or maybe switching gears from third to fourth, maybe a little bit of fuel saving, or back to third if you need a little bit more RPM. But we're going to try to stack them back up one more time. This is the Filter Time eSpark season opener right here from Daytona. Rick, here we go again.
This is how we do it. Here we go again. Tack in the number 20. Craftsman Camry third on the inside. Lucky Dog in the 13. J-Paw in the 22. Ramsett in the 44 on the outside. Leafs Justin in the 12 sits in second. Slade in the 21 sitting in first. Still at the point. Still leading this race. Now with just about 27 laps left at Daytona. Still so much racing left. They're finally getting up to speed, Pete, but they're getting a little bit choppier as they jockey for position.
Yeah, I think it's really everybody trying to find a hole that just doesn't exist on the bottom, so they're having to actually make one. As you see the 94 of Roy Air just get planted into the wall. I think either his controller died or something happened with his wheel, just shut off. It went immediately to the right without being contacted. Roy Air just lost just about everything that he had, including the draft.
It could cost him dearly, Pete. Everyone knows that the draft is crucial, and this is going to be a fun battle at the front of this one. Slade in the 21 now has to hold off the charge from two cars drafting. You have Rocky Top on the outside, who's getting a shove from Dohar in the 88. Look at the outside train move. Now you have the 38 now helping the third car in line. They've got the speed, but do they have the momentum? The inside line starts to inch forward out of 4, and that's all she wrote for the outside pass. Slade remains your leader in the 21. Leafs in second, Tack third, Ward Burton in fourth.
Yeah, we're now in fourth, and more cars are trying to find their way down to the bottom. Definitely seeing a little bit of instability in the lobby. Watching this 13 of Lucky Dog right now, and he was able to work his way on by the 44 after a little bit of a lag spike, not from the 13, just from the pack up front. So somebody in this front 5 or front 6 is having a little bit of an issue with some rubber banding or some lag, and it's causing them to bottleneck. And now that we see some newer guys up front, I wonder if these were the characters that were causing some issues in the back, because it's just a long train coming through the tri-oval, and what do you know, just as I said, at least 2 or 3 cars around and flipping.
Another big one as well, Pete. I saw the 3-car instigate that crash. I don't know if that was his own doing or if he just lost control. The 00 of Super NASCAR fan getting collected in that. We see the Aviator becomes our third DNF, along with Lil Snack in the 32, Fluffy in the 16. A lot of guys made it through unscathed, Pete, but there was 25 laps remaining. We're going to have just a little more than 20 laps left when we go back to green. Still too many laps remaining for these guys to make it on fuel. However, we're going to see who doesn't pit this time in lieu of track position.
Yeah, once the 42 of Big John comes on by the start stripe on this restart, we'll go ahead and grab a lap count. I can tell you on a full tank of gas, these guys are running about 24 laps. I'd like to see that full 24 under green. Get these guys up, get these guys going. get the draft pulling these guys all the way around, maybe have a phenomenal two, maybe even four wide finish. But Rick, we're going back to green. Right now we're too wide. Let's set them back up.
Back to green in the filter time season opener. 21 laps remaining at Daytona. The 38 of Brodozer on the inside, the 37 of Track Bar in second. Jose for the first time in the top five of the 95. He's on the inside third in line, but now you see some connection issues, some lag from the 37 of Track Bar shoves him and moves him out of the top five. Brodozer leading, Track Bar in second. NCAR Racing fourth place in the 24. Big John fifth in the 42. And the caution, I don't know. It has come out one more time, Pete. This looks like caution number 9 at Daytona.
Yeah, Rick, there's a whole lot of people that were on the outside trying to force their way in, and that is not a recipe that's going to work. That bread just wise because the apron is rough enough. Never mind getting door slam from a guy on the outside that's trying to make a hole rather than trying to fill it into one. If you're on the outside, you're on the outside. You work your way back. You maybe do a little bit of side drafting without actually making a whole lot of contact, if you have to make any at all, and you work your way in. Or if you have to go to the back, you know what? People up front, they make mistakes. Not very many people out here have I seen anyway that have been able to guide themselves along that double yellow line, that out of bounds line. They've just got to be patient, Rick, as you'd like to say, and work their way through the field. Hopefully, this will be about 19 laps of green, give or take, 18 now, rather than caution after caution. We want to see him get racy.
Brodozer's biggest helper, Track Bar, is now on the outside, who's got enough momentum to make the pass on the outside, but will he clear him? 37 on the outside. Dope Brodozer in the 38 on the inside, but he's got help from the 42 of Big John. Here comes the 77 of McWinning, and the caution comes out one more time, Pete. These cars can't get enough of that bright blue Daytona sky.
I tell you, talking to one guy that just caught every bit of that sky and is probably count clouds while he was up there was the 17 of Sterlo. Unfortunately, he got knocked around a little bit by the 3, sent him up into the wall, had nowhere to go, and he just got rear-ended, hit somebody in the front, and he went skybound. So Sterlo, very, very unfortunate. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong traffic to be around. I'm sure this 17 would love to be back up front where it was nice and safe for him earlier.
It's a shame, Pete. He was doing so well at the front of this one, and it looks like he's just been caught out due to pit strategy. I don't know if he's going to try and pit and get fuel now and make it all the way to the end. All these drivers that may have just pitted should be good to go to the end on fuel. However, anything is possible. Through the filter time restart zone one more time, less than 15 to go in this filter time eSpark Series opener, Pete.
Yeah, 37 of Track Bar's control car. He chose to, or he was on the bottom, but chose to duck on out to the outside to pick up the 38 of Brodozer. He came down, gave the 42 of Big John a little bit of door music. 77's going to collect the 38 back up. A little bit of instability, a little bit of lag. I don't know if the 38 meant to do all that, but they're going down the big old super stretch here at Daytona, and it looks like it's going to be 37-38 on the front row. 42 giving the 37 a big old shove. 77, he's going to make some contact with 42. Up to the outside wall he goes, but no big issue. We're going to stay green.
Staying green for now, Pete, but 2 and 3 cars have been involved in a crash out of the fourth corner. The 77 of McWinning bounced off that turn 4 safer barrier, but they keep it moving. 14 laps to go in this filter time eSpark Series opener. The 37 of Track Bar back at the point. The 12 of Lease Justin, who's been fast all race long. He was involved in that one. He spent most of his afternoon in the top 5, and now he's by himself down that front stretch. Cars nose to tail, pushing and shoving, getting impatient. That looks like the 95 of Jose, who's been hung out to dry on the backstretch. Pete, these cars are getting very, very unstable. Lucky number 13 laps to go this time by.
Yeah, very unstable, and I tell you, Rick, I don't know if I can say that it's all lag or not. I'm seeing the 34 and 9. They were just dueling, and 41's going to be able to pick up a couple positions off of their contact, but the field is very, very spread out now in the back. I don't see the caution out. Riding along right now with the 48 of Scott Hall for life. He's got the 11 and the 10 of Fry Dog right in front of him, so he's got a little bit of help. But up front, this pack of about 15 or 20 cars, all trying to get past the 37 of Track Bar.
Track Bar has been one of the strongest drivers on that inside line. He knows the rules very well. He opens up enough daylight for drivers to see, but not enough to stick that pointed Camaro nose. Track Bar, John, and NCAR Racing in the 24, who finished at the very tail end of this field in Stage 2, has fought back up to third. A dozen laps remaining. 12 circulations of this 2.5-mile World Center of Racing left, and it looks like the 19 getting into the wall. The 62 of ECR Kool-Aid trying to avoid him. Drivers desperate to get up to the front. Everyone wants to win at Daytona. Track Bar leaving like it's the Indianapolis 500. He still remains at the point.
Yeah, weaving from the top line to the bottom line, picking up the guys on top when they got a little bit of momentum. Looks like the 8 car Tom Tom, he's actually might have a chance, but he doesn't have any help. The 73 backed off at the wrong time, so Track Bar's got a full push from the 18 of Rocky Top. Rocky Top's got the 42 of Big John. Big John has the 24, and then the 24's got the 2 of Stout Whiskey. They are double file from second on back. Quite a bit of help out there, but nobody able to actually get locked to bumpers. So the push just isn't there as the 18 and 37, now they're dueling up front.
Still neck and neck down the backstretch. I'm impressed with the momentum that Rocky Top carried down the back. Now he's got help from Tom Tom in the 8, Slade in the 21, Track Bar, John, NCAR, 37, 42, 24 on the inside. Now coming to 11 laps left. Ramset, the car who's about to be a lap down on the outside. How is he going to handle this? Track Bar getting behind the 44 of Ramset. Will he come back down? He does indeed. Is the outside lane done for? Ramset trying to stay glued to that wall on the outside, and for the most part, everyone almost clears him. One car gets into him. One car round out of the second corner who got into the 44 of Ramset. We stay green so far at Daytona.
Yes, staying green, still the 37 and the 18 show up top. One car got sent down through the grass. Don't think he was able to hold it down there. Looks like...
00 of Super NASCAR fan Pete. He was clipped, sent backwards through the grass, and collected at the top of turn 3. Still racing green.
Nope, here we go. Slowing them up. Pace car's going to come on out, and we are going to stack them up with... Right now it's saying 9 laps to go. After they go on in and pit and do their thing, I'm going to guess it's going to be like a, 6 to 7 lap shootout here, Rick.
Pete, it's going to be less than 15 miles left in this filter time 250. I am so excited because this is going to mean a thrilling finish for the fans at home. For the drivers, it's going to be a test of nerves and a test of grit and skill. So far, the 18 of Rocky Top being shown in front, Big John being shown in second in the 42. Pete, still anybody's race.
Absolutely. I mean, we've seen people come, we've seen people go, we've seen people get wrecked out of nowhere. So we'll have to see. But right now, Rocky Top, he's on the outside of the 37. Big John is underneath the 24 of NCAR. 42 of John has the 2 cars, Stout Whiskey right behind him. So your top 5, everybody on the bottom, they've got to be thanking their lucky horseshoes that they are in the preferred lane. But that top line with the 18 up front has been able to build up a little bit of momentum. But behind them, it's just a hornet's nest.
5.5 filter time laps remaining. The 37 of Big John. The 37 of Track Bar leading this one. The 42 of Big John in second. For a brief moment, you saw the 20 of Tech slide down the back. Cars crashing into turn 3. One flying through the air there, Pete. And cars still wrecking. Caution comes out one more time.
Boy, everybody says, you know what? We displayed maybe a little bit of patience earlier, as Harvick fans saying out there in chat, drivers are experiencing some server lag. No doubt about it. It's been interesting. Not the way that I would have wanted the entire race to go. But Rick, man, it's been fun to call. It's been fun to see what these guys have been capable of doing. It's pretty much been a few of the same drivers up front. Some of the guys that led early, unfortunately, found themselves a little bit further back than they wanted to. But we're about to stack them up, back up, hopefully for the last time. Let's see who's got the patience to go just a couple more laps.
Should be just about 3 laps remaining in this one. Hopefully, these drivers don't suffer with any more server lag tonight. The 37 of Track Far leading, the 42 of Big John on the outside. Coming to the end of this filter time season opener, it's a green-white checker to settle the winner at Daytona. The 37 of Track Bar leading, Stout Whiskey sitting in second. Drivers still door slamming each other. Pete, they're coming down the backstretch for the second to final time. A couple of cars are around. The 94 of Roy Ayer's been involved. They're still wrecking at it too, but still zooming down that backstretch, Pete.
Yeah, zooming about down that backstretch, everybody wants to get on up and hopefully work with that 37, but I don't think it's going to happen. The only man I think that might have a shot, or men I think that might have a shot at this, is going to be the 2-car Stout Whiskey or the 21 of Slade. 42 has also been up there and been strong all night long. There goes the 24 of NCAR. He made his own hole. It looked like underneath the yellow, but not quite sure if he was forced down. Rick, one more lap. Your call, sir.
They're wrecking through the first corner. 2 miles remaining. Cars flipping through the air. Will that be the race? Track Bar leading. Stout Whiskey in the 2 behind him, and that's going to be it. Caution's out at Daytona, and that is the race. Mr. Track Bar 33 wins the season opener. He wins the filter time 250 at Daytona. That is the race. The crash in turn 1 ends it, and as you see in the number 37 Kleenex Cottonelle Camaro, Mr. Track Bar 33 takes home all the marbles.
At 37 at Track Bar, as I mentioned during the stream, no stranger to victory lane. I don't remember if he was actually the one that got the Daytona victory in Season 2 of the Pro League, but if not, what better place to do it, because most of the people in eSpark have been in the Pro League, either in Season 1 or Season 2, so if he didn't get it on that bigger stage, well, he just knocked it out of the park in the eSpark stage, and yeah, that's one more notch in old Track Bar's belt.
Scratch it up on the post, put it up on the side of the barn, shout it from the rooftops, and fly your flag. Mr. Track Bar 33, your filter time winner at Daytona. We're going to get him in here for his interview along with the 2 of Stout Whiskey, and I believe the 21 of Slade came home in 3rd place. But Pete, I'm impressed at the skill that these drivers showed despite the high number of cautions we had. They really did give us something to talk about. And one more time, if I may, Pete, fans, take a look at this chat. 1 ticket for $5, 3 tickets for $10. What a value. Buy yourself a raffle ticket to earn a Chase Elliott All-Star Win diecast with the glowing Chevy lights on the back. 1 ticket for $5, 3 tickets for $10. It goes to benefit the More Than a Cape Foundation. You can learn more at morethan.cape.org to help children against in the fight against cancer. Only 4% of our cancer research budget goes to children, and at morethan.cape.org, we can help these kids in their fight against cancer. So buy your raffle tickets. Go ahead and smash that $10 button. Get yourself 3 raffle tickets or just 1 ticket for $5. Or if you just want to donate, morethan.cape.org. Get those raffle tickets. Enter to win this amazing Chase Elliott car in the bottom left of your screen and help those kids.
You
Pete?
are the man, Rick James. All right. let's see. So far, I see Dohar's in here, so just waiting on Track Bar Stout Whiskey, and I think, as you said, it's going to be Slade. And yeah, find out exactly what these guys think of this race, what they were experiencing, what they were feeling, and what they're looking forward to now that the Cup Series is back in action for this new season.
Yeah, I've got third place finisher Slade Gravett in the booth with you guys, and I'm going to go work on getting the other two. So Slade is all yours to take.
All right, Rick James, go ahead. Old Slade, 21.
Slade, congratulations on that podium finish. We saw you in that number 21 Spin Mustang, kind of lingering towards the back in stage one. We've started to speak your name a little more frequently through the second stage, and we really did see you making some moves with the two of Stout Whiskey. Did you have a good time out there?
For sometimes, yeah. The first part of the race was rough. Like I said, I did not make the duel, so I'd get in by the last chance qualifier. Started 31st. I think we got away to the top 15 in about 4 laps to start the race, so we were making good progress there, and we just got caught up in about every other incident there was, being in the back. So didn't get any stage 1 points. Stage 2, still got caught up in a lot of wrecks. Just being in the back, but then we were able to come away with 10th in stage 2. Got a point there. In stage 3, I think we led a good bit of laps. Lag, obviously, an issue. We hated for that. Hated track like Daytona with 38 cars. It was always fun, but when you have lag problems, server problems, it damages the caliber of racing. So you always hate to see that, and that type of racing that was out there. Just it's no one's fault here. Just how the server is, how the lag is. I was getting told that I was lagging, and I've never lagged. Ever since being hardwired, I think probably since back to the NASCAR Heat 3 days, I have not lagged in one league race. So for me getting told that I was lagging, I knew there was issues with the servers, which is always unfortunate, like I said. But P3, nonetheless, I was trying to back it up with the 42 Big John and get a run of the 2 and 37, but the caution came out right when we were making our run. So P3, we're happy about that with how the overall race was. I'm ready to go on to next week.
Absolutely, Slade. Once again, congratulations on that podium finish. Pete, right now, Stout Whiskey is on his way from his race debrief with Mr. Track Bar, and I believe we've just been joined by our second place finisher.
Absolutely. Stout Whiskey, it is, man, my buddy. How you doing, Stout?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
But I'm all right, man. You were driving around in that very, very plain Deuce tonight, but there's absolutely nothing plain about this race and nothing plain at all about a P2 finish here in the Filter Time eSpark Cup Series, where the lobby is just completely stacked. Talk us through your race, what you felt, and what you think could have been just a little bit better, or maybe something that you wouldn't have changed.
No, I mean the whole plan, especially switching up to stage racing versus not having stages like we've done the previous 2 seasons of eSpark. It really helps me because I don't have. I'm still trying to figure out the fuel gear stuff. So when I make my cars, man, it's just go hard and get all you can get. So just coming into the night. The most important thing was just surviving the lag. Unfortunately, that's just how super speedway racing is, on this game. And getting a restart on the bottom. And I was blessed to, out of the 9 or 10 restarts we had, I think I only restarted on the outside once. So it was, I benefited from that big time. And then just, being smart. I really hate, the caution came out at there at stage 2. And then the same thing happened, there at the end where I didn't get to race. I finished second stage 2 and finished second in the race and didn't get a chance to, at least try to win because I would have. I'm here to win. Points are cool, but it's important to me to always go for the win. And, second or 37th is the same to me. I'm just checker chasing. So, it worked out the way it did. I imagine with my stage finishes and the race finish there, I might have the points lead. I'll be pretty close to Track Bar. So that's a bonus, especially, get this first notch on our belt out of the way, and we can move forward on to Richmond.
Phenomenal race, man. Glad to see it. Definitely looking forward to the rest of this season, of course, and our starting back up here in about a week and a half. Man, I'm looking forward to working through all of it with you, Stout. Congrats, sir.
Appreciate it. I just want to thank Tyler, man, for just giving us a platform to race. Thank you, Pete and Rick James, for hopping on and calling our races. I love listening to you guys, man. I feel like I'm listening to old TNN Network and Ralph Shaheen and Eli Gold calling action. So just thank you so much for taking a piece of your life, your time, and helping us out and putting on the show in the booth for us.
Oh, thanks for putting on the show that we can call for you. Appreciate you. And then, yeah, Rick, you've got the one and only track bar. As soon as he makes his way out of the green room on in here.
Gentlemen, I have him. I found him. One thing everybody loves is a good story of perseverance. This week started out hellacious for our favorite man from McCall, South Carolina. He flipped his truck, nearly broke his shoulder, driving with one arm tonight. Mr. Track Bar, the story of heroicism, gets the job done at Talladega.
Track Bar, congratulations on the top step in the podium. My friend, you are tonight's winner of the Filter Time 250 at the Daytona International Speedway. It is yours. You have won it. And after hearing what you've been through this week, it is certainly a well-deserved acclaim. Congratulations. Welcome to Filter Time Victory Lane. How did you pull that off?
Firstly, before I talk about it, Tyler, I think you're a little confused there. We're not at Talladega, we're at Daytona. But anyways, yeah, it's been a crazy week, man. Yeah. Friday, like you said, I was on my way to the racetrack and hydroplane and basically went into a ditch and flipped my truck and everything. About broke my shoulder. My arm is all messed up. And they're like, still racing. I said, all right, yeah, I'm here for the league. I'm here for the Filter Time eSpark series. Like I want to get back to Victory Lane. And I mean, it's awesome to get back here. I mean, I've had an incredible record here lately at the super speedways, whether it's in the pro league or in eSpark and stuff. And it feels really good to be able to sit here and talk to you guys here in Victory Lane.
It's good to talk to you as well. You really took command of the race. Halfway through that second stage, you started to make your way up. And then in the third stage, you took the lead and never looked back. With a hard challenging stout whiskey, a determined Slade behind you, and cars that could not stay off each other, how difficult was it to maintain this lead in the closing laps?
Oh, of course, it's super difficult because, I mean, your car, you can have the fastest car out there, but if you don't have the draft support behind you, you're going to go from a hero to a zero real quick. But it was really hard. Like I said, Stout's really tough competition. Slade is too. Ran against Slade in the pro league, ran against Stout and eSpark and other leagues in general. And they're really fun guys to race with. And I knew them guys behind me. I had to keep my eyes on the mirror the whole time, wait for moves, wait for them to peek out and try to block the run, do whatever I had to do to keep the lead and all. And I think we did a pretty good job. Luckily, caution came out there at the end. I mean, if not, I think that would have been a really good race to the line with Stout. I think Slade was back there laying back. I saw him back in my mirror, so I went up high in turn 1 and 2. So did Stout, so they couldn't get the draft. And whenever they called us, we were going to cut low, and so they couldn't use our momentum against us and all. And that'd have been a very interesting finish. But hey, I mean, sometimes the races end like that. But I mean, I'll take the victory lane, or I take the checker flag. I'm just thankful to be back in victory lane here and start the season off the right way.
Once again, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, your winner in the number 37 Kleenex Cottonelle Camaro, Mr. Track Bar 33. We look forward to seeing him next week. Speaking of next week, Pete, September the 20th, we trade the 2.5 mile capital of racing to the 3/4 of a mile bull ring in Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah, Richmond Raceway rather. One of the favorite tracks of the actual NASCAR drivers. It's going to be a phenomenal race. I'd be curious to know how the qualifying and all that is going to go. If we'll have the same number of attempts, how many are going to make the race, who's not going to make the race. Let's bring in the eSpark owner, operator, driver of the '88 Good Humor Chevrolet. Dohar, any last minute words for tonight, bud?
Well, for qualifying for next week, so how it operates is we have 48 guys that want to run eSpark full time, which is awesome, but we only got room for 38 because we need the other 2 spots, 39th and 40th, for you two beautiful gentlemen. So what we do is Each team owner, there are 8 teams. They nominate one driver to be put up basically to qualify into the race, and they qualify up against the 8 independent drivers, the guys that aren't on teams. And then basically the fastest 6 of those guys, because 32 established drivers that are going to be locked in, and then the 6 from qualifying makes up the 38 of the field. So it'll be interesting to see. I think for my team, we're going to nominate Track Bar because that's just going to be guaranteed in the show, but we'll see what happens. It's going to be really exciting. Some big names are going to miss the race. So there's always pressure even to get into the show.
Well, there you go. So again, the one and only Mr. Track Bar 33 got it done tonight here at Daytona. Don't recall again whether he got it done during the Pro League, but when you're racing against a whole lot of Pro League drivers here in the Filter Time eSpark Cup Series, it's probably right close to it. To bring it all back, guys, I want to thank everybody that's been out there. Thank you very much for all the new follows, all the chats, everybody that kept up with us. Again, one more time, you still see that link there in chat for your chance at either $5 or $10 for 3 chances for the Chase Elliott glow car, I guess we'll call it. The same diecast that he won at the All-Star race in Bristol. Please visit, do what you can. Until then, don't worry, breathe happy, filter time. Have a great night, and we'll see you somewhere around the track or next week. Later, y'all.